I'm back. Well, what have I got today? Where is everything? Well, there's a big mess on the table. Here's that. I've got cutting tools. Oh my God, what can it be? Well, what it can be is this problem here. Yeah, my RG550 Limited. I hate to say this, but I've got a huge amount of guitars. This is probably one of the best playing guitars I've got at any price. But there's a bit of a problem. Yeah, and it threw me for a while, as it would. Might throw you too. Well, you know, I bought recently a Helix rack that I could put above an amplifier, so I could use the Helix rack primarily for effects. But you've got that option of being able to flirt in a what they call a simulated amp and all that sort of stuff. And I was doing some work on it. You know, I'm sort of setting that up at the moment. And yeah, I get to the clean bit, and I've got this guitar out. I'm playing clean, and it sounded like a valve had gone. In fact, it was so bad, I stopped playing and turned the amp off really quick. Oh my God, I didn't zap the amp, did I? Well, no, I didn't. I was very lucky. Well, so I thought. So there I am. I flip the amp off, turn the Helix off, turn all the rubbish off, turn everything off. And then I take the guitar and unplug it, and I look at the amp for 10 minutes. As you might too. Yeah, I didn't want to lose that particular amp. It was the Satriani head. Very nice amp head. So I sit down and spend the time looking at the amp, thinking to myself, it's got to be a tube. I mean, it sounded like a distortion on the clean, and almost like it faded out early, like a noise gate, but not a noise gate, like a you get the idea. Yeah, that type of thing. Yeah, so I spend the time looking at the amp, then I go and get another guitar and try that and think to myself, well, I'll plug it direct to the amp and cut this Helix stuff out. It was perfect. So from that little bit of work, so to speak, I determined it was this. My prized RG550 Limited. Yeah, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I decided to look back at this again, and it's a three-way, that is, if you can see that. But I thought to myself, I'll get a five-way, you know how it goes, as you do. I don't know why I want a five-way, but you feel better off somehow, don't you? So I went on the internet and got one of these. Now, this is an Ibanez one. The reason I bought this, it's a VLX91. The reason I bought it, it's the very same one that's fitted in one of these. Yeah, a 7VWH. And it's a five-way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like I said. Now, for a very long time, this guitar here has had the same pickup in the bridge that's in that white one. And in the middle I had this Seymour Duncan something or other I never used, but in the neck I had the jazz pickup. Yeah, Seymour Duncan jazz pickup, for a very good reason. Let's not worry about that for now. What concerned me was this switch, and I happen to know that it's a pretty crappy switch that's fitted. I must have had this guitar for 20 years or longer, and played it all the time. It's got dents all over it and all sorts. So for me, this is a key guitar. But the VLX91, you'll probably see it on the screen right now. It's a really complex switch to set up. And It's a brilliant switch in its own little way, really well made. So I want to fit this into there. I think that sounds like a plan, but there is a problem. We'll come to that. And that's partly what the video's about, well, as well as seeing my fabulous RG550 Limited that is just one awesome guitar. Anyway, yeah, we'll see where we go with this, won't we? Oh, you're there. I'm just pulling it apart. I'd already taken the strings off and, you know, tidied the neck up a little bit. But let's get this done. Let's see where we're going with this. It doesn't want to work. What am I going to do? Okay, well, I've got all the screws out now, and it's just a matter of lifting this off and seeing what we've got hiding underneath. I do know that it's not a pretty sight under there, so even though this guitar worked flawlessly, the electrics needed a bit of work. That I never had it done because I didn't want to really screw anything up. But here goes. Well, this should be exciting, shouldn't it? Oh my God. Look at all the skin underneath. I don't know if you can see that from there. Well, it might not be, it could be anything, couldn't it? And how bad's that? How bad is that? Well, I think at best I could describe it as horrible. Yeah, I haven't been in here for a long time, but I can see why now. Oh my God, it's even got, yeah, it's got a fender switch on it, a three-way fender switch. I must have done that a long time ago because I don't remember fitting a Fender three-way. Yeah, but the original switches on these were, well, not good anyway. And I don't like the looks of this much either. I think we ought to sort of just look carefully at everything, don't you? Yeah, I think there's nothing to be lost here. Yeah, I think I'll start by getting rid of this gunge. I'll be back in a minute. Well, I guess you might say that this area down here is bad. In fact, it's extremely bad. It's been that way a long time. Look, there's a bit of wire burn there. There's all these bits floating around. It's a three-way switch. Looks like a fender switch, like I said. Or if I didn't say, well, it looks like a fender switch. And it's a three-way one, which is a bit problematic. I've got three brands of pickups in here. Sorry, two brands of pickups. I've got Dimarzio here, the EVO, and I've got the Seymour Jazz just there, and I've got this, I don't know what that is in the middle, whatever it is, we never really use that. And then I've got a sort of bodged in switch with bad wiring, and I've got, you know, it's generally, it's pretty awful, if I say so myself. Let's move that camera around a bit. Yeah, I love the mouse, it's come in useful after all. Yeah, so it all looks bad, this does. But with this VLX91, I'm afraid, this is a complex switch. This is not your average switch. You've got connectors on the front at each side, and you've got connectors on the back at each side, and it's just a question, just a question, he says, of just connecting the wires up. Well, I don't think it's going to be quite as simple as that, somehow. And I know that on the internet, there's a big furore of, oh my God, I've bought this switch and I don't know what to do. Well, that's a bit like me, really. And I have been on the internet and I've had a look. I've got all this sort of garbage here, and it does show you a number of things. What else have I got down here? Oh, I've got a diagram too that I sort of messed around with a bit, but to be honest, none of it's very obvious. So I've got a better answer. You know the 7VWH I showed you? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take the lid off that. So let me move this out of the way, and then we can have a look inside the 7VWH just to look at the wiring. I mean, this video is particularly useful if you're one of these guys that's got any Ibanez that's sort of like this, and you get problems with them switches, and I can tell you now, you get problems with them switches all the time. Less so with this type, but the Ibanez switches, the ordinary ones, not so much this type. These are usually pretty good for a long time. But the ordinary Ibanez switches are nasty, right? Oh, you there? I was just finishing taking off these screws. And here it is, ready to be pulled apart. I've never had this one apart. Should be interesting. Wonder if it really is the same as the VLX91. Let's hope so. Oh, looks better than my wiring. Well, we can start with a bit of an overview. Here's the exact same pickup that's fitted into my RG550 Limited, and I did that some while ago. Oh look, they didn't keep the wire short, they left it running all the way around. You've got these tiny little pots. I'm not a fan of them. You can see how much is K-goed onto this second pot. Looks hard work, but I can see which wires go where on this VLX91. So let's zoom in even a bit closer and see what we can get. Now, I do have to say that it's not easy to see, and that's about as near as I can get with the camera as is. Well, that's a quick look inside my 7VWH, and what I'm going to do is just clean the gunge off here and put it back together, because there's nothing wrong with this guitar. So my reckoning is, looking at this, oh my god, what a sight to behold. I think I might even, I'll have a look at these pots as well, because I've got a few spare pots, stuff like that. Well, I'm in here, I might as well, you know, look a bit closer, haven't I? Have you ever noticed how you always struggle when you're looking for something specific? I've got millions of 250k pots, millions of them, all sorts. One 500k. I think we'll use this on the main volume, and I'll clean the other one up. Well, whichever one I decide on. So I've got a brand new Dimarzio 500k for the volume. And yeah, it's basically a rewire. Before any task like this, you do want to sit down and draw out the old diagram, even if it's only in black and white. Well, there you have it. It took me about 10 minutes. I mean, it's a pretty grievous drawing. But the fact is, that's all I need to be able to fix this problem. It's just a reference to how it used to be, because when we get to the new one, well, it's highly likely that I'll be falling back on this one. This one came from Ibanez. Well, it's not exactly the same. Well, it's sort of similar, and that's all that matters. It doesn't have the switch for flipping this into strap for the treble pickup. That's the only thing. Okay, it's messy, but don't worry. There are going to be some changes, I'm afraid, on this one. Yeah, and yeah. So I'm going to zoom in a bit closer and just show you what we've got at the moment, and then we're going to carry on, and I'll show you the final thing. Yeah, I might even make a diagram. Well, there is a diagram. Okay, well, this is where we're up to at the minute. I've changed this pot for a new one. I've taken the old one from there and put it here, because it was actually a Dimarzio one that I'd fitted at the time. I couldn't really fit this because it was too big, gets in the way. Didn't want to either. Don't care, that'll work as it is. The switch, well, it's there to fill a hole right now. I don't think that's going to be part of the plan for the time being, because I don't think it needs to be, because the way that this works, it allows you to do a load of things. Another thing I've noticed is that this Dimarzio pickup here has white, black, red, ground wire and green. Oh, the middle one, that has white, black, red, ground wire and green. And guess what the bridge has got? Yeah, it's a ground wire and green, a white and a black, and a red. Not sure what order they should be in, but we'll get to that. So what you've got is a very clean setup. Admittedly, I've got the switch, but it's a dual way switch, and no doubt at one stage I'll get back to that, because I will. But for now, yeah, it's good on the front, all works, and it's good on the back because it needs wiring, and that's exactly what I'm going to go and do now from this diagram. You can see most of that. Not all of it, but don't worry, you'll be able to see it later. And it should work. At least I hope it does. So, there's the new switch fitted. That old switch was, just while we close up, oh my god, 3-way. Don't even ask, I don't know. Must have been what I liked at the time. Well, here I am back with a complete pile of mess. But actually it does work, and what I would say, if you have a choice of buying one of these switches, which is a VLX91 or not, then don't do it. It's a bit of a nightmare to do, and with having two brands of pickups, Seymour Duncan and Dimarzio, the colours are different. You'd have thought after all these years that they've been making pickups, they'd had a standardised colour for the pickup cable, wouldn't you, really? No, no such luck. Anyway, I'm just going to have a quick shot. It's probably on the screen. You can see that it's a little bit involved. Well, actually, it's very involved, and to get everything right takes a bit of doing, so I don't recommend it. All I can say is I did make it work. Don't do it. Buy a Strat 5-way and be happy. Well, I'm going to clean this mess up now and put the guitar back together. I'll be back in a moment. Well, there you have it. Back as it was. The switch doesn't work. That one, that is. This one works. That's cool. I don't think that'll fail any time in the future. Or any time soon, shall I say. As for the rest, well, there's a few loose bits. I think I'll do that, and then I'm going to end the video. I've got a mess to clean up. It's all over the place. My advice, you get one of these switches, stick to one type of pickups, or get a different switch. Till next time, I hope it's at least put you off. Now get out of here.